This video, I can tell y'all right now, this video gonna be kind of a long video. So if you need something to listen to while you doing something, this is the perfect episode for this, okay? This video, I am going to ask that you give me a safe space, okay? This is not an easy episode to make. I actually started crying when I was writing down the notes and going over everything that I want to discuss in this video because it's very hard for me to talk about this. And it is something that I still struggle with to this day. And it's something that it still bothers me. It still bothers me. And luckily, I am to the point where I can talk openly about it, but only if there is a safe space. So, with that being said, you guys know I have to do commercial time. So, can I get a drum roll, please? Good morning, Instagram. And of course, good morning to the TikTok, you don't stop. And good morning to all the beautiful podcast listeners that are listening to me out there. I appreciate you guys so much. The numbers just keep going and going and going. And we're up and we're stuck. We're stuck together, baby. We are stuck together. If you guys don't know, I have it should be 60 podcast episodes up by now, which is why I've been slowing down my content because I really want you guys to catch up on my older episodes because they are such gems. Like, they're my little babies. And I don't want them to get oversaturated by new content. So, yeah, that's where I've been. But anyway, back to this video. In this video, we're talking about me. I want to encourage anybody who has a disability, whether it's physical, learning, any type of disability out there. I want to encourage you to get through it. And don't listen to what people tell you. Don't even listen to what professionals tell you, okay? Have faith, keep going, and remain positive. Okay? Even when the room is dark, because trust me, the room been dark on me so many times in my life. I'm surprised I can still see light. Okay? But I just want to give this encouragement and to just tell your story. Tell your story. Even if you guys don't give me a safe place, people try to bag me or talk about me, I don't care. Because guess what? I beat the odds. Okay, I beat the statistics, and I'm proud of myself. And if my mother was here today, she'll be very proud of me also. So that's all that matters. Anyway, now I want to start off by saying I was diagnosed with dyslexia in the second grade. Yes, the second grade. And what I want to put out there, and which I feel like I can put out there because I have the qualifications to put it out there, is that the earlier you catch it, the better. The longer you wait, or you may be in denial, or you might not just know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not just know. Some people think certain things. Oh, they don't have a speech impediment. They'll get it, or da da da. No. The longer you wait, the worse it will be. So, mind you, this is back in 2001, like 9/11-ish. The way disabilities is now was not what it was like when I was what? Let me tell you something. My generation, we had to go through the trenches, bro. If you was in special education growing up and you from my generation, bro, you did it, bro. You survived. You survived. I'm trying to figure out how to. Okay. Yeah, you survived, bro. You did it. You got this. Cause let me tell you, it was not we gonna get into it. But anyway, yeah, so second grade is it's early for that time, but second grade in today's time, that's kind of pushing it. It's kind of late actually. So yeah, I got diagnosed with it in second grade, and the reason why I got diagnosed with it, okay, is when I was in first grade, they wanted to leave me back, but because my mother had worked for school, they didn't want to leave me back. So luckily, my mother met this friend who told her the whole public school system, whole DOE system, right? And so what she did was she got me transferred to a different school because they wanted to leave me back in. Back then, like, what? You're not leaving my child back. You know what I'm saying? And this was I think that it's not the year, it's the year before the No Child Left Behind Act has started. So she transferred me to a different school. Mind you, I want to say I've been to 3 schools. My elementary from kindergarten to 5th grade, I've been to 3 schools. So my first school tried to lead me back. Mind you, I'm around teachers, right? Teachers are known as professionals, right? Instead of them saying, hey, instead of leaving the child back, let me wonder why this child's not getting it, they just like, let me leave the child back. Crazy. Okay, she transferred me to a different school. The school that she transferred me to was actually a good school. And the teacher she actually knew her stuff. And instead of her saying, I want to leave her back, the teacher noticed little things about me. Like I would always wear my D's, my B's, and stuff backwards. And the teacher pushed to get me evaluated. Got evaluated. Come to find out, I'm dyslexic. So this is very foreign to my family, my mother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not, like, well, first of all, what is dyslexia is what we had to learn, because I never heard of that before a day in my life until I was diagnosed with it. Neither have my mother. And then, two, like, how do you deal with this? How do you know what I'm saying? Like, what, like, it's just so foreign. And coming from, I guess you could say, poverty, we didn't have the resources. There was no after school tutor. There's no, you could go to a private school or now I hear that there's like dyslexic schools or schools specifically for dyslexia. Like, I love it now. Like, I don't wish I grew up in this time, because I love my generation sometimes, especially my childhood. Let me take that back. I love my childhood, not my generation. My generation be bugging, but my childhood I love. Okay, but right now is the times. If you growing up with a learning disability, this is the best times. Because let me tell you something. My time and the time before that, oh, please forget about it. It was horrible. It was horrible. So they placed me 12 one-to-one special education class. A 12 one-to-one special education class is, well, the type of class that I was in, we still take state tests. So it was not like crazy, like a severe disability setting. It was more for like a slow pacer for students like me who have dyslexia, learning disabilities, but we still are able to, I guess you could say, we still able to learn, obviously, but we're just below the average grade limit that we're supposed to be on. And so there's 12 students in the classroom, one teacher, and one classroom para. So, the paraprofessional is helping you as the teacher's teaching, and, if you break it to groups, it's just more of a smaller setting, which is, to me, I strive in smaller settings, and it's just, you get that one-on-one attention that versus when I was in gen ed, there was like 25, 30 kids and only one teacher. So it's like, yeah, this was way better for me. So the third grade, I got transferred and I was placed into special education. And yeah, it was a change. It was nervous, it was a lot. I was definitely teased for being in special education. Oh man. But I feel like elementary school being in special education wasn't as bad as junior high school special education and high school special education. Woo, child, Jesus, that was a lot. When I got to the sixth grade, they wanted to put me in general education, and of course, like, you're skeptical because it's like, I haven't been in general education since I was in second grade. Yeah, it's the second grade when they first found out about it. So it's like, okay, I was like, all right, try it out or whatever. I tried it out. Yeah, I hated it. No, like, I really hated this so bad. Like, it was so, like, it was, first of all, it was too many kids. Like, this is too much. That's one. Second of all, it was just the homework, the work, the expectations. They wanted you to read books that was like the size of Harry Potter books. I'm like, no. Mind you, in the sixth grade, I'm sorry, I think I had like a third grade reading level. So I'm like, I'm very, very behind. And I'm not up to par. I haven't learned how to teach myself, so I'm relying on the teacher to teach me still, and it was just too much. I begged my mom to get me out of there because I was just like, girl, I can't do this. Like, it's too much. She told them, they put me back into my 12 one-to-one setting. I was so happy. Because first of all, it was just too much. Like, it was just, the teacher was great, but the class and just the size and just the expectation of me was just too much, and I just couldn't handle it. And I just preferred that at that time. So the rest of my junior high school years, I stayed in the 12 one-to-one setting. When I went to 8th grade, that's when things got very, very. So I went to 8th grade with a third grade reading level. Yes, I was in the 8th grade with a third grade reading level. And this wonderful teacher, who I don't like saying names on here, but I will send her this podcast because She changed my life. She changed my life by just one, believing in me and actually enjoying what you do. And she worked with me that whole entire year. Within that one school year, my reading level went from a third grade reading level to a fifth grade reading level. And you might be saying, I remember she said this before. She said, some people would be saying, but she still has a fifth grade reading level going to high school. But she made my reading level go up 2 grades within one school year. If that's not talent and passion and just love for what you do, then I don't know what is. And I can't imagine going to high school with a third grade reading level. Like, it would have been so horrible for me. Like, it was already horrible for me with a fifth grade reading level. But 2 grades lower is just like, wow. Like, and I will forever love her and thank her and just be so grateful that I experienced such an amazing teacher like that. Like, such an amazing person who just enjoyed what they do and just loved me so much that they saw so much potential in me and helped me when I needed the help, and I will always say thank you for that. So, thank you to her. I don't want to say her name, but she know who she is, and she will always be that highlight of my life. And yeah, so I went to high school with a fifth grade reading level, and I was like, all right, I'm in high school. I feel like my biggest mistake of going to high school was going to high school with like my whole neighborhood. That is what really messed me up. Like, when you go to school with your outside friends, it's like you can't escape the world, bro. At least like because my generation, we went outside. This new generation, I don't know what's going on. This is so ghetto. But my generation, we went outside. So you had two lives. You had your school life and you had your outside life. Okay, where I guess I could compare it to this generation to where you have your school life and you have your social media life. I guess I don't really know, but because these kids do not like to go outside, it's so weird. But yeah, so it was no getting away from my life. Like, my life was just like doubled with the people around me. And you got to remember, like, growing up with dyslexia, it was like, one, people didn't know what it was. So when you say you have dyslexia, some people might think it's a disease, bro. Like, some people might really think it's a disease. They don't know what this is. It's very foreign. And I always viewed my dyslexia as like a disease, or like it was something wrong with me. I kept it a secret. And I hid that I was in special education. Like, my outside friends didn't know that I was really in special education up until I got to high school. But before I got to high school, it was just like, I didn't tell them, obviously, because like back then, if you was in ed, they called it the ed. If you was in ed, like, you would get teased. They would think that you're stupid. Like, you just would never hear the end of it. So it was just like my biggest, darkest like secret. Like, and it's so sad because now that today, it's just like the fact that I thought like that as a child is just like, but even when like my mom tried to put me in after school programs, I hated it. Like, I hated camps. I hated after school programs because it's like, all right, you have homework. That school program I was in, they helped you with your homework or whatever, but like, it was like in group settings. There was no one-on-one setting. So when they would help me, I couldn't read my homework. I can't read my homework. So when the kids in the group realized, oh, she can't read her homework, they would laugh at you, make fun of you. When the kids in the school actually found out that in junior high school, when this is actually when I was in sixth grade, so I'm going back to sixth grade. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I catch everything, but it's a lot, and I actually have a headache right now. But I said that I'm going to give you guys this episode, so here I am giving you this episode. So I'm sorry if I'm like ping ponging back here, but yeah, the after school programs, I hated them. I hated reading out loud. I honestly sometimes refuse to read out loud because I couldn't read it. But I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't know how to read it. I'm gonna sit here and just act like I don't want to read, And then dealing with, kids from the regular gen ed classes, finding out I can't read. Like, all right, I'll give you an example. And this story is just. I hate telling this story, but in order for you to understand my pain, you need to understand some type of what I went through. So I got speech, obviously, because I also have a speech impediment with my dyslexia, right? And I still have it to this day. Like, some things I be trying to pronounce and it just don't be, and I just, I'm freely with it. But back then I had speech, and usually the group that I was with was on the level as me. So the speech pathologist, I don't know if she did it like as like, I want to get these kids that's on like a similar level. But it was one day she mixed us, bro. She mixed me with one of the boys that was from my neighborhood, and he was in Gen Ed. She asked us to read. I think it was like three of us in this group. She asked me to read. I'm nervous. I really didn't want to read. But at that time, I wasn't bad yet. I was actually a good child. I didn't get bad till I was in high school. In high school, I started wilding. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in sixth grade. I'm still a good child. So I'm going to read. I'm reading. Da, da, da. I get to the word that I don't know. And like when I realized that I don't know this word, when you know something's about to go down, like when you know something's about to go down, like I knew that this shit was gonna come back and bite me in my ass. Like I'm sorry to curse, but it's just like I knew it in that moment when I've read that passage. I knew that it was gonna be some ish. Okay, so I'm reading the passage. I get to the word friendship. I remember at this time I couldn't read the word friendship. I can't read the word friendship, so. She says it for me because, when you're reading and you don't know the word, I'm sorry, y'all. It's just, I'm not even crying about the situation. It's just, when you realize that you really just been through so much and then it's like, wow, like I'm here, but like you don't really analyze what you've been through until you actually have to sit down and really have to talk about it. And it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. For those of you listening, tears keep coming down my eyes. I'm trying to tell a story, but whatever. And I'm not a crier. This is probably the only time you'll ever see me cry. So, but I have to get this podcast episode over with. Like I'm not stopping. I'm not editing. I'm not doing none of that. I have a headache. I'm gonna go lay down. But anyway, so I get to friendship. She says the word for me, right? Okay, I'm gonna say like a few weeks, maybe a month. I don't even remember. Maybe like a month passed, and I remember, all right, I don't know if your school did this, but my school, they would take us from the cafeteria and put us in the auditorium. From the auditorium, the teachers would pick up their classes. So at the time, you sitting with your friends, that. So I remember we all was like by the stage or whatever, right? And I forgot, somebody from, it was a group of us, like maybe like 10 of us in a group, right? Somebody said something about him. And they was like basically cooking him, like making jokes on him, basically. And the boy that was in my group that day that it got switched, I forgot what it was. I forgot what the joke was. And we all started laughing. Mind you, we all started laughing, bro. All started laughing. And of course he comes to me and he goes, "Fuck out of here. That's why you can't even spell friendship." And now, mind you, everybody's just like caught off guard because they like, what you mean she don't know how to spell friendship? Like, yes, she do. Da. So he goes, spell it. Spell it. I can't spell it. And they all started laughing. When I tell y'all, I basically died inside. Went to the bathroom. I cried. I cried. I went home. I told my mom, of course I cried to her, and I never, especially at the time when you're a kid, you don't understand so many things, but it's just like, why me? Why I couldn't read like everybody else, or even like my brothers and my sisters, like, why I couldn't just be normal, like, why I had to struggle with this. And it was a lot. It was so much to deal with as a child. And then at a time where nobody really has knowledge of this. Like only like professionals and doctors and teachers. But like people in the hood don't even know what dyslexia was at the time, or more or less a learning disability. Or a learning disability was looked at as if you're just like, like, and it's just, it was so much that I had to deal with in school, but I always loved school. I never stopped loving school. I would take books, even though I couldn't read the books. I just loved books. Like I loved books. Like, my mother used to be like, right, you got to stop bringing these books. But, like, I just love them. I love the just look through the pages, especially like a picture book. Oh, if it was a picture book, you won me over, and even though I struggled and it was like a block, because I like to call it like a block. It was a block of me just loving something but not being able to understand it, because even though I love this book, I don't understand what this book is about. I can't read the book. And I used to make comic books. I used to love to draw, but I couldn't write the words because if your spelling is bad, if your reading is bad, obviously your spelling's going to be bad. But that didn't stop me from just having a love for books. So I never let it get in the way of the love that I have for learning in school. But at the same time, it just made me so angry. Like, I was very angry. I can't say angry child, because I feel like I'm happy. As a person, I'm happy. But I had this fireball that was inside of me. And it really didn't take off until I went to high school. And now I'm in high school, and in high school, if you get caught going to them small special education classes, especially the high school I went to, they gonna cook you. And you gotta remember, I went to school with the whole hood. So I was not trying to go to those classes. Absolutely not. I was not trying to go to those classes. I wasn't doing it. So I purposely cut class because I didn't want to get caught coming and going out of the small classes. And then it turned into a habit. For those of you who don't know, I actually never finished high school. I actually got my GED. But that's a different story for a different time. And I actually, what is it called? I think I have an episode, GED or whatever, about that. I want to encourage people who struggle or feel like, why do I have to have this? Why can't I just be normal? Why me? And it's like, I didn't think my reading would be to where it is right now. For those of you who don't know, I have a dual master's degree. So I have three degrees. I have my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, my dual master's degree, and I also have like credits above my master's degree also, college credits above my master's degree also, whatever. But it's just a simple fact that coming from a not knowing how to spell friendship to being where I am right now. Oh, by the way, he wound up, I think he became a bum. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I think he became a bum. If he didn't become a bum, shout outs to him, but I haven't heard about him in like maybe 10 years, I want to say. And the last I checked, he was a bum. So it's just like, and people failure don't make me feel better in life. But if you could get off by making fun, like, yeah, we were kids, like, you didn't really know what was going on, but the fact that I still remember that and it still hurts me to this day just goes to show, like, childhood trauma is real. And I have an episode on that also. You gotta know people's childhood trauma. My childhood trauma was being dyslexic. Well, it's being dyslexic because I still have dyslexia, but it's just, I don't feel like I've broken it, because I do have days where I'm just like, why am I spelling like this? What am I doing? And those days, I just try my best to just do as much less reading as possible. And it's very rare when I have those days, maybe like once or twice a month. But it's not like simple words. And then technology is so advanced today that even if I do have one of those days, I literally could just talk to my phone and tell it to write what I want it to write. Or I literally could have my phone read to me what I needed to read. So back then, you were on your own, bro. You were on your own. And it was very hard. It was very hard. I'm not even going to sit here and be like, yeah, it was. No, it was very hard. It was so, like, on statistics, because for the statistics of special education, it's horrible. I remember I had to do a paper on that for this class that I had to take for college. And the statistics, I don't remember the exact number, but it's very low of the students that actually become successful in life. It's very low. So I beat the statistics. I beat the odds, coming from poverty, then having a learning disability on top of that, my mother being a single parent. I'm not really where I'm supposed to be today. Like, I was supposed to be, out in the trenches still fighting. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I really beat the odds, and I'm very proud of myself. But the most important part of being where you always dreamed of being is acknowledging how far you came. And when I tell y'all, this was a very long journey. This was a very, because if I still had that fifth grade reading level, I wouldn't probably be able to give y'all the content I need to give y'all. I wouldn't have the education skills, because I used to talk like a hubugger. For those of you who don't know, I used to talk like a hubugger. This vocabulary came throughout college, the years of college. My first year of college, I was talking like a hubugger. You know what I'm saying? And then it started, growing over time, and now here we are. But the switch up is real. Don't get it twisted. The switch up can be real. But my whole point is that having a learning disability as a child, was one of the hardest things that I had to deal with. It was one of the hardest things that I had to overcome. It was a horrible, I looked at it like a disease. I used to tell guys, when I used to talk to them, I didn't tell them I was dyslexic. I would hide it for as long as I can. And then when I felt like I couldn't hide it no more, the way I would have to tell them something, they probably thought I was going to say I cheated or something, because I would just make it so awkward. I have to tell you something, but I'm scared. And they would be like, what? And I would be like, I'm scared how you're going to react. And then now you probably thinking some crazy-ish, but here I am just in my mind, in the gutter, thinking that this is the worst thing on earth, but you're just looking at it like, oh, you have trouble reading, that's fine. That's fine. It's not a big deal. But I think it's a big deal, because I think it's a problem, because I'm wondering, why was I born like this? Why am I just not normal? And what I had to learn is that with this, I guess you could call it a gift. It's a gift, because I'm so creative and artistic and just so outgoing, and just if that's what it took for me, for me having dyslexia, for me to be all of these crazy, beautiful things, when it comes to fashion. Remember I told you I used to draw, graphics, computerizing, just creating content for y'all. That's my art. Remember I used to do nails. I had a whole press-on nail business. I am very creative. So if I had to have this disability to be able to be the way I am creative today, baby, I'll take it. Baby, I will take it hands down. Hands down. Hands down. I will take it, because I just love that I'm not normal now. And not even just being dyslexic. I love that I don't follow trends. I love that I have my own sense of fashion. I love that I'm a leader and I can just be creative and I can do what I want to do, and I'm able to accomplish everything I put my mind to. And if being that and having that mental strength and having that artistic eye is what it took for me to just have dyslexia, listen, I'll take it. Because the pros definitely beat the cons. Okay? The pros definitely beat the cons. One thing I will say, my childhood is tough. It was tough. Always having to constantly second guess yourself. I constantly always second guess myself. I still second guess myself still sometimes to this day. But it just comes from a place of always being wrong. Oh, is this the word? Then that's not the word. It's just, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. And making this episode was hard too. When you just, like I said, you don't know what you've been through till you have to actually talk about it. This is why therapy and stuff is very important. And it's I'm fine. Don't let the crying and the I'm good. I'm Gucci. You know what I'm saying? I overcame so much stuff in my life. I'm proud of myself. I am happy. I'm okay. I'm dyslexic. That is fine. I can still read though. You know what I'm saying? I can still read. I can write very well. And it is what it is. But to get to where I am today was a struggle. It was tough. But I'm here and I want to encourage you to get through it. And like I said, the statistics, if somebody would have told me, oh, you're not going to beat the statistics, you're in poverty, or your mom's a single parent, or you're da-da-da, and da-da-da, I probably would have believed them. And look where I am today. Don't let people decide your future for you. Only you could decide your future. Only you know what you're capable of. And sometimes we don't even know what we're capable of. I didn't know I was capable of this when I was in the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th, even in high school, But we have to challenge ourselves. We have to encourage ourselves. We have to be our own motivation. Don't look for people to motivate you. Be your own motivation. And fight. Get up and swing like you in a boxing ring, Because that's what I did. So yeah, guys, if you made it to this part of the episode, I don't love you. Like, we family. Like, we family. It's official. We family. We in here. You know what I'm saying? This episode was very long, but it came from the heart, and it needed to be told. My story needed to be told, because I don't want people thinking that where I am today, it was easy for me to get here. Cause bro, like Drake said, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. You know what I'm saying? You know, the one person that was with me shooting in the gym, she not here. So it is what it is. But I thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and I will see you guys in my next episode.